All right, folks, welcome back to This and That. We are joined by Dr. Ty Federico along with Tesla from the Riverview Animal Hospital. And we are talking about when it comes to older age with our dogs and our cats. And by the way, hi, Tesla here. And we're joking here before, too, about some dogs live a lot longer than others. Right. And one of those that lives a lot longer than others would probably be Tesla. Good choice.
Yeah, she's the ideal. She's a tiny mixed breed dog, so she should live forever. That's what I'm counting on. So.
But that is a problem that a lot of us face here. I've got two older dogs myself,
right.
and we start to kind of worry, how much longer are they going to live? And we got the minds, we think about some of the numbers here, but there are certain breeds that do live longer than others, and we can sort of expect.
Exactly. Well, I always tell people, your dogs are going to live forever, but statistically, a golden retriever is probably looking at about a 13, 14, sometimes 15-year lifespan. So that's kind of, different breeds have different lifespans, statistically speaking. Of course, there's always an exception to the rule, and the oldest lived dog ever lived to be almost 30 was an Australian Shepherd mix, which would not be expected. You would expect it to be like the world's smallest poodle or something, because they live so long typically.
Is there any reason why, like we were mentioning Great Danes earlier, are some of the shortest lifespans, but something like a Chihuahua lives a lot longer? Is there any reason why?
So we don't really understand exactly why. There's a phenomenon that the larger the breed, the shorter the lifespan. It's like they're growing so fast, they just kind of carry that cellular aging momentum into their adulthood, and they just live their whole lifespan in half the time that a smaller dog would. But there's definitely a sort of a straight line. The exception is there's a few exceptions. Bulldogs are relatively small dogs, but they have one of the shortest lifespans, usually 6 or 7 years on average for bulldogs.
Now we're seeing video of cats too. Now this sort of applies to cats, but maybe a little bit in a different way.
So with cats, it's not as dramatic. For one thing, 95% of the cats that we see aren't really a breed. They're just sort of an American short hair mutt cat. And typically the lifespan is about 15 years. But the longest one ever lived, the oldest one ever lived in Texas was 38 years old when it passed away.
Wow. So, I'd like to know what the secret there is.
Apparently it ate a lot of asparagus. I don't know.
Now we know.
Now we know.
So, now, the other question too, when it comes to our older pets, our dogs and our cats, they obviously can't tell us, hey, I've got arthritis, things are beginning to hurt. When do you really start to know that there are problems and that we need to get checked out versus just being old age?
So one of the things we look for is a change in behavior. So a pet that was able to go up and down the stairs without any problem is now struggling to get up and down the stairs, struggling to get up on furniture, jumping in the truck. That's another thing that's really common, especially with big dogs. Making moaning noises that might be familiar to us as you bend over. So just basically behavioral changes that are associated with not being able to do what they could do when they were younger.
Now I know this is always maybe even a controversial subject sometimes too, but prolonging your animal's life. There's obviously just a ton of medicine out there that's going to help out. But again, the dog, the cat cannot speak back. What is your sort of advice on that? Obviously we want our loved one to live as long as possible.
As long as possible.
But you don't want your animal to suffer.
You don't want them, you don't want to keep them alive just for your sake, right? I mean, so there's certain sort of criteria that we use to gauge their quality of life, and it's really more about quality of life and quantity of life, especially for pets. So they should be able to eat, they should have a good appetite, they should experience joy at some portion of the day, not just lay on a bed, and they should be able to get up and eliminate, by themselves without a lot of assistance. So they should be comfortable. And one thing that we see a lot of is they get sort of doggy mental disease. They decline mentally, and that can be a real problem.
All right, folks, as always, he always has great advice and brings one of the cutest dogs around as well. All right, folks, it is Riverview Animal Hospital located at 641 Market Street. That's in North Chattanooga. The phone number is 423-756-6011. They're great staff there as well. RiverviewAnimalHospital.com. Again, RiverviewAnimalHospital.com. Appreciate you and Tesla coming in as well.
Good
job as always.